Welcome to the Oakley Podcast. I'm Jeremy Kellett, Director of Recruiting here at Oakley Trucking, and I'm your host for this podcast. This is episode 69. So on today's podcast, we have the guys from MHC visiting with us today, Todd Venable and Adam Campbell, going to sit down with us, and we're going to talk a little bit about trucks. We're going to discuss some problems that they're having in the industry-wide in getting trucks. We're going to talk about some trucks for sale. We're going to talk about a struggle to get parts. We've got the Oakley update coming. I mean, we got a lot to discuss with these guys to give us a little details, because you hear all the stuff, from drivers everywhere that, having all these issues of a month out to get a part and all these kind of things. And we just kind of want to dive in with these guys that do it every day and know what's going on, and we're going to visit with them and get the lowdown. Also got Dustin Eagle going to hang out with me and help me co-host this thing and give us some good information on what's happening here at Oakley Trucking and more. So first that I want to do is the Oakley update. All right, guys, so here's the lowdown on what's happening at Oakley Trucking. The one thing, we sent out an email, I want to discuss this again, about the vaccine shot. I had a few guys question about that, because we sent out an email saying that if you got the vaccine, Oakley Trucking, employees and independent contractors, if you got the vaccine, Oakley Trucking is going to give you $2,000 after September the 1st. So you got up till September the 1st, get the vaccine, send us your card. You're going to email Vicki Chastain your card, copy of it, picture of it, whatever, and then after September 1st, you get a $2,000 bonus. Goes straight to you. It does not go to escrow or wet kit or blower. It goes straight to you. It'll be, a few days after September 1st where we process settlements. So low down on the vaccine shot. Hey, if you don't want it, don't get it. It's not a big deal. We'll just keep moving on. The other thing is parking your trailer. Something that we don't talk a lot about, but it needs to be. We've had issues over the years of where trailers are parked and being secure in a secure area, and we just assume you guys take care of them. But occasionally that's not the case. We get calls in where trailers are sitting around for a week or two and unattended, and a tractor's not hooked to them. So we want to make sure that you understand that either your tractor is hooked to that trailer at all times, or that trailer is in a secure area, maybe with a kingpin lock on it, but exactly where it's at, where you can check on it. We don't want them left at truck stops and unattended. So be sure and take care of your trailer. If you got any questions on that, call and talk to your dispatcher, or call me. Let me know what's going on. Other thing is calendar pictures. We were talking about that this morning. If we do a calendar every year that's got our owner-operators on them. Got their truck. They take pictures, wherever, all over the country, and they send them to Vicki, and then we take the best 12 and make a calendar. Super nice, man. It works out really good, and we're just getting closer and closer to that deadline of when she's got to have those in, because it takes a while to get them made. And these days, it may take a long while to get them made. So you got you a good picture of a place where you're loading, unloading, or you just stop on the side of the road, man, send it to us. Make sure it's good quality, and we'll try to get you on the calendar. Other than that, one last thing here with one of our driver profiles I like to do once in a while. We got a guy named Earl Odom. He's been here 20 years. He hit 20 years in July, and it was kind of weird, because I saw his name on the anniversary list this morning. I thought, he'll be a good one to acknowledge for that. And lo and behold, he walked in the door. I said, well, look here, Earl Odom. Congrats. He probably don't even know the podcast exists, but he's an old school guy. But great guy. He's been with us 20 years. Truck number's 8133. He lives in Shreveport, Louisiana. He drives a 2013 Peterbilt. Just does a great job for us. I mean, he's been with us a long time. He knows it. He's kind of one of those guys that's just smooth all the time, steady all the time. Doesn't get excited about anything, and he gets the job done and made a great living here at Oakley Trucking. So we just want to say we appreciate you, Earl, for your service and being here 20 years. So our Oakley update is sponsored by Lube Zone. Let's hear from them. For the past 6 months, Lube Zone and All-Star Truck Repair have been a proud sponsor of the Oakley Podcast. We've enjoyed telling you all about their network of locations and exclusive discounts they're offering Oakley drivers. Just in time for summer, Lube Zone is offering an AC tune-up service to help you beat the heat. So if your AC is struggling to keep up with the rising temperatures, don't sweat it. Lube Zone has got you covered. Swing by any of their locations, especially if you are running in the Houston area. I spoke with Jeff Porter the other day, who informed me they are featuring a wheel alignment service now, which runs $100 for a single axle and $225 for a 3-axle alignment. And they're also going to extend the $40 discount for oil changes at all Lube Zones through September. Lube Zone and All-Star Truck Repair are taking great care of us out on the road and at home on the Oakley Podcast. Check out lubezone.com for more information or visit one of their locations and tell them you heard it on the Oakley Podcast. Okay, let's get started with this week's episode with Todd Venable and Adam Campbell with MHC. Appreciate you guys making it. Y'all doing all right?
Doing great. Thank you for having us.
Oh, man, glad to have you guys come over. You know, Todd, this is your second one. You've done this before.
Yeah, I feel famous.
I know it. You are. It was back early on when we just started the podcast, and you helped get it rolling, man.
Yeah, well.
You and Mike.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was a good time.
Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. So what I like to do, you know, of course, we'll talk about our relationship a little bit, but I like for our listeners to know who we're talking to. You know, a lot of guys do watch YouTube and see it, but a lot of them just listen to it. And you guys, especially Todd, I know you've been in MHC a long time, and just introduce yourself and give our listeners an idea of your background real quick and your family.
You bet. So, been with MHC 28 years, here in Little Rock since 1996. So, worked at 4 different locations, so I got a taste of the company around Denver, Springdale, Arkansas, Greeley, Colorado. So I've worked at a few other places, and that's good for relationships, etc. So anyhow, happy to be here in Little Rock. Call it home. That's where my kids grew up. I've got 4 children, and so this is where they grew up. Happily married, and man, just enjoying life.
What do you do on your weekends?
Love to hunt, love to fish, love to do anything with the kids. We do a lot of side-by-side riding, 4-wheelers, that sort of thing.
How old are they?
So they're all grown. So actually my youngest son is 24 years old and works for our MHC location in Tulsa.
Nice.
So I'm trying to get him in with the company, so he's enjoying it there. So my oldest is 29, and I've got 2 girls in between, so. Yeah.
Nice. You feel like you succeeded as a dad?
You never feel that way. And here's why I say that, because they're still on my payroll.
Yeah. Never get rid of them, do you?
I guess that's when it's official.
Yeah.
And I don't know that they're ever off the
They're
payroll.
all good kids, so that's all I could ask for.
Well, that's good. Good. Yeah. What about you, Adam Campbell?
So my name is Adam Campbell. I'm here at MHC in Little Rock. Been back here going on 3 years this time. I started out in this industry in 2004 with MHC, and worked there about 3 years, and then I kind of made a couple changes here and there, and lo and behold, found my way back. So glad to be back at MHC. Very good company to work for. Have a good time working there, and really enjoy coming over here and doing the lunches and all that kind of stuff. It's a fun place, and I enjoy it.
Good, man. Glad to have you with us today to give us a little insight on this. So, also got Dustin Eagle. Do you need any introduction?
I don't think so. This is 3 in a row.
Really?
Yeah, I think everybody knows me by now.
Hunter, make a note of the ratings. They're going
They probably went up
or
I'm
down.
Pretty sure.
And we also got Hunter in the background over here taking notes and checking on everything and putting this podcast together. So, well, for the ones that don't know, Dustin Eagle, head recruiter over here at Oakley Trucking. So
that's correct.
Good enough. Introduction done.
Appreciate y'all coming in today. I know I work with Adam real close every week, and Todd too.
So let's talk real quick about our relationship over the years. You know, I've known it. I mean, ever since I've been here, back in the '90s, we had a relationship with MHC. We always have had a contact over there or something, Todd. I mean, it's been going on for years consistently. So, you know, for everybody that thinks it's just started, I mean, we have been doing it for a long time of being able to. Man, we've gone over there to have parties at y'all's place. Right. Y'all's come over here and cook for all our drivers and employees all the time, and you know, it's a constant. Hey, you got a truck in the shop over there. Or, hey, I'm selling you a truck over here. I mean, it's just been a great relationship over the years of people that we've dealt with. I mean, and it's been a good one, and that one that lasts that long means a lot.
Well, you get to know people, and the whole idea behind it is to understand your business and to get to know you personally. And so when you do that, I think it's easier to do business. And so, and it's evolved through the years. We've really tried to put our whole package together for Oakley. At first it was really just a truck sales opportunity for us, and that's where we could come in and meet some of your needs with your drivers that needed trucks. We escalated that to include parts discounts, and then we started doing it throughout our whole company. We've got over 100 locations, so and many of those locations are exactly where your guys are driving to and from every day when they're doing their business. And we included service discounts, and we're just try to be available to you guys and offer something that maybe our competition can't. But more than that, just anything that will help your drivers do better at their job so that they can be more successful for you. So it's been good for us.
What's the current relationship, Dustin?
Well, we have a great relationship with MHC. I mean, Adam, he's our go-to guy for truck sales. All the recruiters know if we get a guy approved, Adam's our guy. We've got a good relationship with the whole company. Like Todd said, from truck sales to parts, discounts for, any guy that comes through at any location. So that's a big deal to our guys.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
And it's, I know they appreciate it. They don't get to tell them that often, but I know they appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, and it makes a big difference. And, and something I do need to mention is, like you said, Jeremy, they do a lot of stuff for us outside of that for the company. They do a lot of catering, to our guys and it's very appreciative, and we got a
Tell
great
them about
relationship.
that. What happens?
Well,
Every Wednesday.
every Wednesday, we have an orientation class every Wednesday or every week, and every Wednesday, Adam will come over and have lunch catered to the new hires, and also existing owner operators are at the yard that day.
Where do you have it?
Over here in the new drivers lounge.
Okay.
And Todd or some other employees of MHC will come over with Adam every week.
And there's usually plenty of food.
So why do y'all do that?
Gives us a chance to get personal with the guys that you guys are hiring, get in front of them. We can tell them what we're telling you guys now and what you already know, what we offer to Oakley drivers. And it just gives us a chance to, get to know them.
Believe it or not all guys know about it. With the parts discount, so it's an opportunity for them to talk to our existing owner operators that are on the yard that day to tell them what all they offer, but it's also an introduction to the new hires that are leasing on to Oakley.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know the relationship that Oakley has with MHC.
Right.
So that's I think that's the whole goal behind it, the whole point behind it.
Yeah, it really is. It really is, and it makes it easier to do business. Adam gets to know them. We bring over our other management staff. My parts manager's been over, service manager, body shop manager, just to make sure that everybody knows who they are and what we have to offer.
Exactly.
And so
I think it's good. Yeah, I think it's great, to do that during orientation. It gives those guys that are nervous, what I do if I have a truck problem or if I want to buy another truck. It gives them that first introduction to MHC, and it shows that, hey, Oakley's confident enough in MHC that they refer us over there to them because they know what to get done. So great opportunity. Works for both of us. So our guys have a better opportunity to succeed. We need them to make it. We need them to have a good truck.
Yeah,
we need them to have a good repair place and get the truck fixed and back on the road. So anytime we can find that, that helps us for sure. So.
We always give out a letter each week too that has the contact information for myself and all of our management in Little Rock. Mm-hmm. And we tell everybody, and we do it. If they need us, all they have to do is call, and we will go as far as we can go to help them out, regardless of where they're at.
Yeah, and that's another good point as far as relationship. If we have a problem at Oakley, we know we can call Todd or Adam with a problem. It's not always just going to go smoothly. There's going to be something that's going to happen down the road. But if we call them, they jump right on it and do what they can for these guys. And that's a big part of the relationship.
The real question, though, is why don't y'all park a truck at our place anymore?
Well, I thought we were going to get into that.
That's a segue.
That's a segue. Yeah. You know, I've been asked that. You'd be surprised. You know, all the times that
I'm asked that a lot.
you park the truck out here in front of the wash bay, always a truck there for sale, and they're like, you know, they think we quit working together or something. Like, where's the trucks at? And I'm like, man, they can't get any.
So the answer to that is, if I brought one over here, I wouldn't be able to turn the key off probably without having to take it right back.
Yeah, because it's slow.
That's right.
So give these guys that are listening. We got a lot of truck drivers listening, amongst a lot of other people too. But give them an idea of why that is. I mean, you know, a lot of the guys Dustin talks to, I mean, they think going to buy a truck is a simple process.
Well, you know, it used to could show up on a lot, especially at MHC. We would have 5 or 10 trucks sitting there. You can look at them, you can sit in them, you can drive them, you can, you know, see what they feel like, and it just hasn't been that way this year. It started off early on in the year. We noticed real quick, like this is going to be a different year.
Different type of year.
So, you know, there's a lot of things that are playing into this. Part shortages are some of them. Each week it seems to change, but Todd can help me on this. But I mean, there are some pretty constant parts that are contributing to this, and we can get into that. You know, tell you guys kind of what that is. But
and the other thing that's contributed just to the low inventory levels, and that's what we're speaking to as far as having trucks to sell. You know, it really started back whenever kind of the COVID shutdown, quote unquote, you know, when everybody, you know, sending people home and working from home. There's a lot of our suppliers that their business slowed down to the point where they had to let people go. And now that, you know, we've come out of that, it's not been a fast transaction. You know, it's just the trickle down effect. You know, the guy that you know, builds the headlamp assembly for us, he's got everything that he needs. He's got the people to do it now, but he isn't able to get microchips. And so, you know, since that's happened, and then it's, you know, harder to get trucks. It's harder to get trucks because a lot of trucking companies with their business is ramped up because everybody's trying to fill that supply chain now. And we have a lot of customers that have skipped trade cycles. They've kept running their trucks because they need them, and so then we don't have as many trades, and so it's just kind of been one of those years where, you know, one thing happens that affects 10 things down the line, and, you know, that's what's happened with our used truck inventory. Now, the good part about it is with MHC, you know, we've got probably 500 trucks in inventory right now. And we're going to be getting more because most of our big truck trade deals are coming at the second half of the year. And so we've got some packages that I know Adam started selling that are perfect for the Oakley drivers, mid-roof type trucks.
That's 500 trucks amongst all
MHC.
Yes.
And so,
and how many MHCs are there?
We've got over 100 locations when you count our leasing facilities and our individual dealerships. So, but the cool part about that is you have to make one phone call, and that's to Adam or myself, and then we'll search out the trucks and make the deal work for you.
Sure can.
So that's what we try to do really on the truck sales side, not to make a pitch here, but you know, we try to make it easy for the drivers in terms of you call Adam can find you a truck, Adam can find you financing, Adam can find you extras to put on the truck, you know, APUs, etc., chrome, you know.
Right.
Man, he can handle all that part. So no matter if the truck's really sitting in Oklahoma City or Kansas City or Dallas or maybe one of our North Carolina locations, he's got the ability to sell it. He has full visibility to what that truck is, all of the maintenance records, etc. So just try to make that process really easy.
Yep.
But the name of the game today is if you have a truck and it's available and you've got somebody interested in it, man, you got to push to get it done because that truck will be gone before you know it.
Well, that's a good point. Like you said, I've talked to a lot of guys call me, hey, I found a truck over at MHC or wherever it may be. In an hour, they'll call me back and go, well, from the time that I called you to the time that I was thinking about it, I called them back in an hour and that truck's sold.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is that the way it's happening?
That's the way it's
It really
happening.
is.
It
really
doesn't
is.
take long for a
Yeah.
truck to
No.
So
disappear.
there's no more test driving, kicking the tires, none of that. That's
Well,
all
and,
old
and,
stuff.
And there's some of that's going to be available. Like we've got that package of 30 trucks. I think you were going to talk about a little bit later on, Adam. But as those trucks come in, we have a lot of the CFI package that has come in. They're pretty popular trucks for us, and they've got multiples of those sitting on their lot. So some of the trucks, it is where there's enough of them where you can kind of take your pick. But other than those big packages, I mean, it is just amazing.
A lot of guys are buying them sight unseen. Never
right.
seen the truck,
Absolutely.
never looked at it,
Yeah.
probably never even seen pictures of the truck.
And one
Yeah.
thing about that, just so you guys kind of understand, with MHC, every truck that we take in goes through a used truck inspection. So at the end of the day, yes, it's a used truck, but we're going to go through it. If there is an issue at all, we're going to fix it. That truck's going to be ready to hit the road. It's going to be DOT compliant and ready to go to work when we sell it.
So what does a guy have to do? You know, if I'm wanting to buy a truck, and I mean, does it do me any good to look them up, you know, on the
Yeah.
website or the truck paper? Or I mean, are those trucks that are coming in, or well, you said you had 500 at all the locations, but you know, a lot of times it sounds like you got to be on the inside to, hey, I got some trucks coming in
That's
next
right.
week, and they fit your description of kind of what you're looking for. You better give me $500. You better hold it or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
how's that work?
So now, you can go on MHC.com. You can see inventory. You can browse through used. You can search it and
Is it up
narrow
to date
down.
pretty good?
Well, it is. Now, a lot of times when things first hit inventory, they have not gone through the shop yet to be de-identified, detailed, cleaned up, so there's not going to be pictures of those trucks online. So you're not going to see those. So that's something that I can see, and that's why we were saying you can call me up. I can do a search on my side, and I see the ones that are not even pictured yet, not on the website. And on the opposite side of that, if you do go to the website, you may find a truck that you say, that's the one I want. You got to call, because even though that truck's on the website, it may already have a deposit on it. So I can look at that as well and say, well, that one does have a deposit on it, or I can tell you where it's at in the process. Because even though they're on there, doesn't mean they're available.
Right.
And as far as deposits go, right now, it's $2,500 to hold a truck. So if you find the truck you want, you know that's the one you've got to have.
So that's went up.
It has.
It used to be 500, right?
That's correct.
So now it's 2,500 to hold a truck.
That's right.
Yes.
And part of that's just, you know, you've got to make sure that the person's committed to the truck, and because the trucks
Sure.
are so hard to find. And so, and it's refundable if there's a problem with his credit, etc. We'll refund the money.
Well, the majority of these guys know what kind of truck they want.
Yeah.
They're not
That's
going to
correct.
just buy any
Yeah.
first available. They're going to they know kind of, you know, I need this motor transmission, this, you know, kind of truck. They're
That's
going
right.
so you know, you see that computer and they're coming in, but they ain't gone through the shop yet, and they hadn't hit the public yet. So you know,
That's right.
I've got some people that are going to match up with these trucks. You know, so you get a hold of them and say, hey, this is what I got coming in.
And it's still good to go to our webpage. You can search for
Sure.
trucks, find one, call Adam. If that truck happens to be sold, not available, he'll know what else is coming in. Every week we get a list and we go through them on trades that are coming in. So we have a pretty good idea of, you know, really the next month window of trucks coming in. So we can usually find something, or something's coming in that'll fit the customer.
I was curious on something, you know, with, you know, these big company fleets, you know, that's where, don't y'all get a lot of your trucks
Oh, yeah,
from them?
Sure do.
Are you seeing where these used trucks are having more mileage on them now because these companies are keeping them longer because they can't get something else because there's no trucks out there?
Really, it's a mixed bag.
Sure.
The two packages we've referred to earlier, the flat top and then the stand-up
Okay.
package, those really have the same mileage that they usually trade them on.
Okay,
you know,
so they're still
those-
pretty much trading the same time.
Yeah.
Now, we may see some late in the year, or say next year, on trade cycles that we don't know about yet, but they might be some out there that companies have
Well, I didn't know
decided
if
to not
companies
buy
were
this
able
year.
to get trucks. I was going, you know, they're having the same problem as
Oh,
an
yeah.
individual
Yeah.
getting trucks.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing to buy.
Sure.
Yeah.
we can, back to that, just so you guys know, right now, lead time, say you wanted to order a truck, whether you're a company and you wanted 100 or you're an individual and you want one. Right now we're in February of next year, just to give you an idea. And so this year when it started
I may not be in trucking in February.
I hope you are.
So you're telling me if I got a recruit who wants a new truck from me, it's going to be February 22?
To special order something, correct.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I was to completely build a spec truck to exactly what they
But
wanted.
y'all are getting new ones, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Stock trucks, yes, sir.
So if he
Okay.
wants something built specifically for him, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Right.
And
But you got stock trucks. Y'all got any on the yard? I mean, is that part of the 500 that are
Well,
At MHC?
500, I was really talking about used trucks.
used trucks? Okay.
On the new side, we have very few on the yard. So what we're doing, luckily we have stock trucks that we had ordered prior to the year starting. And so those, we had them spread out throughout the year. So we still have trucks that are coming in that don't have customer names on them.
correct.
So many of those are W900s. I think Adam's got a list
Yep.
of just what's coming in on Little Rock. But with those trucks, what you can do is talk to Adam. He can give you the specs on the truck. We know when they're coming in. He knows the paint color. They're too close to really change any of the specs on them, so you can't really change much. But we've really got some owner-operator specs, and what I'm talking about there is the trucks that a lot of the Oakley drivers like. W900s, 3-color paint, 18 speeds, 565 horsepower,
Oh, yeah.
that sort of thing. We've got some of those trucks that are coming in that don't have any names on them at this time, as well as we've got some T680s, some lesser spec trucks, if you will, that still are great trucks.
Well,
for Oakley.
I want to hear about some of these packages that you got, Adam. But first, let's take a quick break and hear from our sponsor. Let's take a quick break and talk about Aero Truck Sales. Keith Wilson and Trey down in Springfield, Missouri, those guys do a fantastic job on selling trucks to owner-operators that are looking to come on to Oakley Trucking, and just want to make sure you guys know about them. We've dealt with them a long time. They are no leases, straight financing, specialize in first-time truck buyers, 5-year or newer tractors, all makes and models, less than 400,000 miles. They run a great program there. The best thing I like about them is service after the sale. Be sure and tell them you heard all this on the Oakley Podcast, and they'll also give you a choice of $600 worth of fuel or $600 truck accessories, or they'll pay half your first month payment if you finance with transport funding. Check them out. Call Keith Wilson at Aero Truck Sales, 573-216-6047. Give them a call and let them know you heard it on the Oakley Podcast. Okay, so you want to give us some of these packages you were talking about earlier on what you got going on.
Okay, so on the used side, we have a group of about 30 still to come. They're 2019 T680 mid-roofs. These trucks all have the X15 Cummins, 450 horse. They have the 12-speed Eaton Endurance transmission, so they'll take a PTO, no problem. Their owner-operator specs, they were company trucks, but they have diamond interior. I mean, they're really nice trucks. They have the bunk heater. They do not have an APU, but you can get an APU, obviously, installed on them, and there's plenty of frame space for that. But these would be great lightweight trucks. Most of them are coming in between 325,000 miles to 400,000 miles. So obviously the lower mileage ones are going to be a little bit more than the higher mileage ones, but they've all been fleet maintained, and these are really good trucks for somebody, especially just starting out. They'd be a really good truck to buy.
It sounds like it.
They also have Cummins extended warranties on them, so 450,000 miles or 4 years, so we can check the in-service date. Like these most recent ones, I've got a couple of these sold already, but they were in-serviced in June of whatever year that was, 2018. So they run out June of next year or 450,000 miles. So that gives a guy some extended warranty on the engine and after treatment system. And then you can buy the aftermarket warranty after the fact if you want to. But it'll give you a good amount of miles and some time to drive the truck and make sure nothing major happens.
You know, I got a couple of. We've got several owner operators that are down because they can't get their truck fixed. I've talked to a couple of them. I was actually talking to one this morning. Bob Dirks is with us. He actually ordered a truck Now, this was a Peterbilt. He ordered a flat top Peterbilt, but he ordered it in May. Then he said it came in sometime in June, but it's missing some electrical
Sure.
something. So he claims that the guy that sold it to him is sitting in some yard in Texas and waiting on parts. I don't know if it's a chip or what, but he said it's crazy, that and he sold his truck. So he's now driving for a guy that has an extra truck here until he's waiting on that truck to come in. I mean, he ordered it in May, and I know, still waiting on something part. I guess the truck got finished, but it wasn't completely finished, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Some electrical component. So, I mean, that was one example. Then I had old John Haley out in Arizona. He's got a W900.
Yep.
Did he buy it from you guys?
No, I talked to him. It's been a couple years
Okay.
back when he bought that truck, but he ended up getting it at another location.
Yeah, it's a
I think
nice
it was
truck.
from a MHC, just not Little Rock.
So he's been waiting on a what do they call it?
Def level sensor.
Def level. See?
Y'all must know about that.
I mean, there might have been one or two of those that's had a problem here lately.
Golly. I mean, and he put it in second week of June, and he got it out last night.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, that's been a month.
And so Cummins has actually, procedures in place for that. So you can't be a dealership like us and just buy 100 of them, stick them on a shelf knowing you're going to need them. It's a case-by-case, truck-down situation. You've got to put a case in to Cummins, and then they will get you the part. So it eliminates
That's
somebody
kind of what
hogging.
John said. He was telling me this morning. He said like if MHC Warehouse had 5 of them and this dealership needed all 5, he couldn't get 5. You can only get like one a day, or probably one an instant,
That's right.
situation like that.
Yeah, it keeps everybody from, it keeps everybody even. So
Is that going to get caught up?
Well, we hope it does, and it usually does. This isn't the first time we've ever experienced this, or at least in my career, with some parts shortages. And anytime they do that, part of what they're doing is they're controlling the inventory so that it goes where it is most needed, and that's a truck down situation. And so that's what Adam was saying. That keeps the dealers from, hoarding excess and then not having them available to somebody that is at another location possibly. So usually these things work out. This is a new day and age really when it comes to this, because we can talk about batteries, we can talk about plastics, we can talk about
But do you know, man?
fifth wheels.
I know y'all know this, but do you know how costly that is?
It's
For John Haley to be down for a month waiting on a leveling sensor,
Yeah,
and
so-
what it costs him and costs Oakley. I mean, it's crazy how that can be tied in. I'm not saying MHC's fault, but it's everything that
Yep.
you're trying to get.
The worst part
is it
is
ever going to get caught up?
Yeah.
The worst part is knowing that it's just a simple sensor, and you can do it within an hour probably, but your hands are tied. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Yeah, I got another guy, Ernie Gibson. He's over in Memphis. He's called me 2 or 3 times because his truck is in the shop, can't get some kind of part, and he's needing to work. He's needing to continue to work, and it's frustrating. For
Well, and what we
everybody.
do on our side is we just try everything we can, because I've got a shop full of trucks that don't have parts, and as bad as it is on the drivers, it impacts us as
Sure,
well.
sure.
I can't have trucks in my bays that I can't work on, and so we try every angle we can, and really with MHC, we've got as big a stick to swing as anybody because of our volume that we do with Kenworth Truck Company and Cummins Engine Company, etc. And so,
But is that just the thing? They can't make them fast enough?
yeah, there's
You
just,
can't get people to make the.
well, I don't
Or you
know.
can't. You probably can't get the material
There's
to make
probably
the,
not the material to make the piece that
Yeah.
it's just every.
There's
here
4
you
or
go.
5 steps in
Yeah,
this
yeah.
process.
And you got to think too, every single truck manufacturer that puts a Cummins engine in, they're putting a Cummins engine in it. Well, it has that sensor as well.
Yeah, got
So
it.
everybody's, it's got to go down the assembly line as well. So, I mean,
If you think about it, there's no telling how many they're making.
that's right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
And
crazy.
this isn't just a Cummins problem. Well, I've got trucks that are built at the factory that don't have side fairings because the plastics that they're needing to make that part aren't available or hard to get or limited availability.
I'm sure that
So
rolls over into body shop repair too, right?
It does.
Could.
It
I mean,
does.
I'm sure you can't get parts for that. I
Yeah.
mean, I
So
know
we just fight every day. I mean, that's part of our new life now is to come in every day and go, okay, what's my parts list that I need to get, and what angle haven't we covered in order to try to get the customer what he needs. And
Man,
so
I hope it changes. So.
Yeah.
You were talking about the guy with the truck on order, and microchips is one of the things that was holding us up at one point. And they were even sending a truck out. It would have the door switches on the driver's side for the window, and they would have to leave the passenger side empty for the time being. Then the driver would come back and get that put in when we would get it, but it would get the truck out so the guys could drive the truck. That was not an essential piece to have that passenger side switch, and I haven't really heard of that window switch being shortage anymore right now.
I think they've got that fixed.
So it's kind of a moving target. 1 week it's a microchip, then they've got drive lines that certain drive lines.
Well, they probably
are not
put
available.
everybody focused on one thing, and then when they get that done, they're lacking on something else.
We've seen fifth wheel shortages. We've had to call customers with trucks on order and say, hey, this fifth wheel's going to put your build 6 more weeks out. Would you like to look at putting a different fifth wheel on there? There's tires. There's certain tires now that are becoming an issue. So depending on what tires coming off on that new truck, we might could change it to something different and speed that build up. But we're seeing it, every day, just like that guy.
I tell you, it's crazy. I mean, we were talking about this morning getting hats. We can't hardly get hats.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's coming to.
Well, you can go see Adam and get a hat. How do they get a hat, Adam?
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's do that. So we were talking about this for the podcast. If you want a free MHC Kenworth hat, you go to MHC Kenworth in Little Rock, Arkansas, exit 5.
Exit 5 on 440.
Exit 5 on 440, and you roll up in there and you ask for Adam Campbell and say, Adam, I want a dadgum hat because I heard you on the Oakley Podcast.
And I'll give you one.
And he'll give you one. Look at there. He's got a stack of them. So don't forget that, man. Go check out Adam and Todd over at MHC Kenworth. Anything else you guys like to add?
Well, I would like to throw something out there. We kind of talked about some stock available, without names on them. When we say without names on them, that's trucks that are being built in the future. We already know when they're going to get built, but they haven't been sold. So I'd say 90-something% of the trucks that haven't built the rest of this year already have names on them. The ones we see the most here recently that are available that get built are W900s. They come out of the Renton facility in Washington. They haven't had any shortages that I've seen yet. So they've been rolling out pretty good. We've got 3 72-inch W9 flat tops that are going to build in November. We got 2 building on November the 8th and 1 building on November 22nd. Those are going to be 3-color paint schemes like Todd was talking about. It is far enough out. We can put whatever paint design you want on that truck, whatever colors you want, so we can still customize it to you. They're far enough out for that. We also have 3 86-inch studios that are going to build late in the year as well. The soonest one for that is in September. And when I say build, a lot of people get confused even when we order trucks for them. Build date is when it hits the assembly line. That doesn't mean that that's when we're going to get the truck. So they may take, they'll roll it out in a day at Chillicothe, but it's still a process. It's got to go from there. Then it gets a PDI done, quality check type deal. Then it goes to the active yard, and that's the company that delivers the trucks to us. So there's a process there, and it's taking longer than in past years, and part of that is due to the pileup of trucks that were waiting on parts. And then they get the parts, and they stab them all in real fast, and they've only got so many drivers. So active's been behind. So, be patient with this. When we talk about build dates, that's the date the truck is going to be manufactured, not at our place.
Surely people don't get that confused.
Never.
I'll tell you, I got a question. So all this demand for trucks and truck shortage, what is this going to create in a couple of years, Todd? Year or two. I mean, I'm buying a truck that is $90,000 when it was $40,000, $50,000. I don't know if that's
well.
realistic,
That's one thing we haven't talked about.
What's going to happen, to that guy that is bought that $90,000 truck, and in 2 years he's still paying for that truck, and now your trade-ins come in. Now the used truck market is getting better flooded. Now those prices are going. I mean, I know that. I guess I know the answer. I mean,
For
it's
one,
just
why is
supply and demand?
a truck so high? What has drove the price of the truck up?
Supply and demand.
Isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
So year after year, you'll notice on new trucks, I mean, there's always an increase. That's due, and it's just like going to the GMC dealership in town. Every year there's an increase, and there's nothing we can do about that. It's just going to happen. The used truck is always kind of fluctuated by the market. You know, sometimes there's so many used trucks sitting around, you can't sell them all. That's when you usually see the prices kind of go down a little bit. Right now, you know, there's not very many available, and when they are, you know, there's people in line to buy them. It's just driving the market up. It's not us. It's just the market.
So that's why we really encourage whenever our guys are coming to us and wanting to buy a used truck, we really encourage them to look at extended warranty packages that we can offer on the trucks. Because it may be a case where a guy buys a truck and usually thinks, hey, his normal trade cycle, he can get out of it in 2 years, 2.5 years. The market's going to change. That's the one thing we do know. At this point in time, we don't think it's going to go up anymore, so there's only one way to go, and that's down. And so maybe he's going to have to run that truck another 8 months and make more payments on it. And to protect himself, you know, we offer up some extended warranties. And so a package like Adam was describing earlier, where it has almost a year worth of factory warranty left on the truck, we can tag onto that extended warranty through our aftermarket service that we have. And that gives the guy some protection, and so that if he does have to run the truck a little bit longer, or he does get to the point where he can trade that truck in, but it's got a little bit more warranty that he had purchased left on it, the truck's worth more money. So we really encourage that, to add that warranty to it. It's not a fail-safe in terms of what's going to happen with the truck market, because nobody knows what that's going to be and what it's going to look like. But at the end of the day, that doesn't hurt anything whenever you add that extended warranty.
Sure.
Has this changed the financing process any?
You know, we really haven't seen it change it too much. They're still loaning money.
Financing's been good.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. You know, most guys that call in, we kind of tell them, for you guys that are listening that don't know, first time truck purchase, you might as well be ready to put about 20% down. I mean, that's just kind of industry wide. You can get lucky and get away with less, but a lot of times they want that 20% down.
Well, I think that's good for guys to hear that financing is good, because a lot of guys are even scared to try.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And for y'all to tell them that, that's going to be reassuring to these guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
And trade numbers are good. I mean,
yeah, this is the time to do this. I mean, business is still good right now.
Because we need your used truck, just like
right.
you know.
To me, I mean,
another
truck. If you've got the new truck, that now's the time to get a new truck.
Right.
You know, get the most for your trade, and you get the new truck, and then you're set up for at least a few years to when that market does turn around.
That's right.
And that truck, you know, then you're okay. You're in better shape, I think, than buying a used truck, because we know how they can bottom out. We've seen it over the years. A used truck not be worth anything.
That's right.
Hardly at all. And
yeah.
You know, but I will say this: I mean, most time, you know, KW, especially W9s, hold their value quite a bit. So.
Oh yeah.
Plus, they look real good.
They look real good.
They do.
We got a lot of guys that got them.
Yeah, they're pretty. They look real good in front of that shiny pneumatic trailer.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, yeah.
Really good.
Okay, one other thing I wanted to say. You know, I was actually talking to my son Clay earlier today, and he's a listener. You know, he listens to the Oakley Podcast. 21-year-old, smart dude, good guy, good kid. And he gives me suggestions once in a while. So I was listening to him and talking, and he said, you know, Dad, you need to have a way where your listeners can communicate with you a little bit better, like where they can call in and ask a question on a recording, or they can text you a question, and then you can answer it on the show, and you know, that kind of stuff. And I thought, yeah, you're exactly right, son. We have that, you know, podcast.bruceoakley.com where you can leave a comment, but he seemed to think, you know, we need to do a little bit better at making that happen. So that's what I want to do. I really do want to hear from our listeners more. We need to, you know, and I mean, Clay is out there listening to it, and he says, I think y'all got a bunch of other listeners, young listeners, old listeners, that are listening to this thing, and they got stupid questions that, not stupid questions, but questions that they may think they're a dumb question, but they're really not, that you ask it, and then everybody else was kind of wanting to ask that question, and you give an answer to it. So, what I want to do is give you an opportunity, all our listeners out there, to send us a question about something you may have for MHC guys, or any episode that we have, or any question you have about trucking. We may have a lot of people listening to this that don't know anything about trucking and just stumbled across it and want to know more about it. If you have a question about anything, I want you to send it to me. You can send me a video, you can send an email, you can send a text, you can just call the phone number and ask a question. But to make this thing work, I think I just want to give out my personal cell phone number so everybody can reach me. And, I don't answer the phone anyway unless I know them. So you send me send it to me to my phone number. You can do it or my email. So my phone number is 501-733-1206. Text me, call me, and ask the question you want to ask. And give me some feedback, too, on our podcast. Or you can email me at jkellett, that's JKELLETT, at bruceoakley.com, and email me and ask me questions too. Or you can also go to our podcast.bruceoakley.com, or you can Google the Oakley Podcast and leave us a comment that way. Just any way you can to get more communication with our listeners. That's what we like to do, and we sure do appreciate everybody listening and sharing the podcast. It's gaining ground over where we started 69 episodes ago. I can't believe it. We've made a lot of headway, and it works. So we appreciate everybody listening. I appreciate you guys showing up.
Thank you.
Man, you guys gave us a lot of good information. Dustin, appreciate you hanging with me,
You're
man.
welcome.
You're getting pretty good at this co-hosting. So, and if you're here on Wednesdays, Adam, MHC Kenworth, is buying lunch Wednesday at noon in the driver's lounge. And don't forget to stop in to MHC Kenworth, exit 5 at Little Rock, Arkansas. Locate Adam Campbell and tell him you heard him on the Oakley Podcast, and he'll give you a free hat. All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate everybody listening to Oakley Podcast. We'll talk to you next week.